Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beach on the 76th Constitution Day or the anniversary of the Constitution. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday, today that is, urged citizens to fulfill their constitutional duties, asserting that these were foundations for a strong democracy. In a letter to citizens on the Constitution Day, Prime Minister also stressed the responsibility of strengthening democracy by exercising the right to vote. And he also suggested that schools and colleges celebrate Constitution Day by honoring the first time voters turning 18. In fact, PM also recalled Mahatma Gandhi's belief that rights flow from the performance of the duties, stressing that fulfilling the duties is the foundation for social economic progress. He also underscored that the policies and decisions taken today will shape the lives of generations to come, and he urged the citizens to place their duties foremost in their minds as India moves towards the vision of a Viksit Bharat. He said on the X, and I'm going to quote those lines: our constitution gives utmost importance to human dignity, equality, and liberty. While it empowers us with rights, it also reminds us of our duties as citizens, which we should always try to fulfill. These duties are the foundation of a strong democracy. Then he paid tributes to the framers of the Constitution, and he said that their vision and foresight continue to motivate us in our pursuit of building a Viksit Bharat. So, how do we decode Prime Minister Modi's letter to the citizens of India on the 76th Constitution anniversary, which is known as the Constitution Day? Has Prime Minister lived up to the letter and spirit of the Constitution? Joining me this evening are two veteran journalists and columnists, Nilanjan Mukhopadhyay and Anand Sahay. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining. I'll begin with Anand. If you look at the letter of Prime Minister Modi, which he has addressed to the citizens of the country, how would you really decode the kind of topics which he has put, the kind of things on which he has dwelled in the letter? What do you feel is the crux of what he wants to say?
Well, with due apologies to the Office of the Prime Minister of India, the biggest democracy in the world, I must say that this is a load of hot air. It amounts to very little. It amounts to nothing at all. I think the government of India, the Prime Minister in particular, his party, and the entire background from which he comes is under so much discussion today, controversial discussion, on account of the strong sense which many share in the country that the election process in India has been taken for a ride in many important ways, that the sanctity of the election itself is violated, that the Election Commission of India is no longer an independent body. The law was changed 5 months before the last general election in 24. In the month of December 23, the law was changed so that, in a way, that the panel to select the chief election commissioner and other commissioners was amended by removing the Chief Justice of India from it, and in his place placing a cabinet minister in that selection panel, thereby tilting the balance in the favor of the executive. An independent election body is critical to the election process in any self-respecting democracy, which we thought we were for all our great serious faults. It therefore is a complete negation of the very idea of our constitution, which flows in a logical way from India's anti-colonial movement against British rule, of which people of Mr. Modi's persuasion had no idea at all. They were non-participants in the movement. They had no idea what these, the long struggle for for independence from colonial rule meant. They have no idea at all. That's why today they try and get hold of anybody, any prominent figure of that era who had the smallest difference of opinion with, of a certain type with the events of that time. They try to claim such a person as their own. And this constitution, which we have today, is a direct and logical outcome from that freedom movement. And once the constitution was proclaimed, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, which is the inspiration behind the present ruling party and its predecessor, the Bharatiya Janata Sangh, they rejected the Indian constitution. And this was prominently taken note of, this rejection, in the official organs of the RSS at that time. And therefore, today, when the whole question of the election commission and the constitution and the way the India's poor are being treated, the way India's minorities are being treated, this whole thing has become a matter of huge, huge discussion. It has riven apart India's social unity. It's done that. And yesterday, only yesterday, the Prime Minister himself actively, he was the sole star, hero, protagonist of the Dhwajarohan ceremony in Ayodhya at the Sri Ramchandra temple, which he had pushed and pushed to ensure that it was constructed during his tenure as Prime Minister. And every word he uttered there, it flies in the face of the Indian Constitution. Exactly like every word he had uttered last year when the half-constructed building was inaugurated as the temple. He had spoken about the ancient past and the consciousness of a particular religious group of people. The Constitution is not about any group of people. It is not about any class of people or caste or region in this country. The Constitution is about equality of every single Indian born in India, residing in India, male or female, regardless of wealth or
Anand,
lack of it.
allow me to interrupt you. Prime Minister also mentioned about fundamental duties today, and he said that from the duties stems the rights, and things like that. He also mentioned, to which Jairam Ramesh he put out a tweet saying that how many duties Prime Minister himself has fulfilled. So basically, he's saying that one has to fulfill the fundamental duties, and that is the foundation of a social and economic progress.
I have no idea of what you're talking about. I have no idea what Jairam Ramesh has said or what the Prime Minister has said in this regard. But the whole notion of fundamental duties, it flows from a general awareness and a consciousness that we are equal participants in the great history and drama of this land on an equal footing. And we have certain rights as individuals, and therefore we also must fulfill certain duties. The most fundamental duty is, of course, to respect the Constitution and whatever it has to say. You've got to have not only an intellectual faith in the Constitution, you've got to have, if I may say, spiritual faith in the Constitution. They'll say, but for those Indians or those political establishments who actually reject the Constitution, but by force of historical circumstances, are obliged to pay obeisance to it, they talk like this without really having any fundamental faith in their constitution. I mean, I think I should stop here and let other voices come in.
Right. All right. Okay. So, Nilanjan, how would you decode Prime Minister Modi's letter to the citizens today? And he reminding the people of the fundamental duties. Then he also talking about celebrating the power of the first time voters. And all this is coming at a time when this entire vote chori narrative is gaining prominence in the country. BLOs are dying from one state to the other. At this point of time, how credible does the prime minister sound, and when he addresses the citizens through a letter?
I think it's one of the most, least guarded secrets of the country that Prime Minister Modi is an event-oriented prime minister or a political leader. He likes events. His former, senior in the party. I say former because he's no longer politically active. Mr. Lal Krishna Advani is the person I'm referring to. Had once termed Mr. Modi as an event manager. He's very good at thinking of events. Even in this letter, if you look at, he takes pride in the fact that he introduced this event in the national calendar by saying that in 2000, 9-10, when India was celebrating its 70, its 60th anniversary, nobody celebrated it. That occasion passed without any celebration. So it is an attack that the Congress did not do it because it does not really respect the Constitution, but I respect the Constitution, so I did it. So what did he do? What does he say that what he did? That at that time he was the Gujarat Chief Minister. So we to express our collective gratitude and commitment to the Constitution, we organized a Samvidhan Gaurav Yatra in Gujarat. Now, Yatras is Mr. Modi's, the entire BJP clan leaders, forte in a way. And then he said that our Constitution was placed on an elephant, and I, along with several other people from different walks of life, had the honor of being part of the procession. So, you just, make something to deify it, but don't really actually believe in it. You can do that very easily. So that is what has been done quite often. Uh, you talk about duties. Now, Mr. Modi is also talking about duties. This is nothing new. From the time that he became Prime Minister in 2014, he has repeatedly demanded that in various speeches that people should first fulfill their duties and only then should they ask for their rights. Not just he, even the former president, Mr. Ramnath Kovind, he had in one ceremonial speech, he's talked about the fulfillment of duties, the fundamental duties. Now, here's a paradox. For the last 11 years, we have heard nothing but disparaging words towards Indira Gandhi and what was done during emergency. But the fundamental duties is one of those articles which were inserted in the constitution during emergency. So it is if he is talking about fundamental duties being part of our constitution, that is something which is not regarded as. Then the big question is that he is the Prime Minister of India. What about the duties that the Prime Minister has, which is to provide citizens all their rights which are enshrined in the Constitution? Are they being done? These are all very important questions which need to be raised. I think this is just a letter written just to have, a few headlines on that particular day during in television and in newspaper articles the next day and to be forgotten.
Nilanjan, he also mentions about the fact that what he did, I did this, I did that, whereas the preamble begins with we the people. It was all about me, myself. It sounded like that I conducted a Gaurav Yatra when I was a CM.
Yeah.
Then I declared 26th November as the Constitution Day. I was the one who celebrated 75th anniversary of. So the things like that he mentioned. What would you really say to that tone of the Prime Minister, which of course is not new, but the very fact that he chooses to mention it in a letter which he's addressing to the citizens on the Constitution Day, how meaningful is that? And what is the kind of import it has?
That's another well-known fact that he is essentially a I, me, myself kind of a person. Look at the way in his speeches he speaks about Modi in the third person. That has been pointed out several times. That it's some kind of a personal promotion of his own personality cult. That is what something he does, and this is something which has not been approved of even within his fraternity. Just last year, Mr. Mohan Bhagwat had, in a series of very critical remarks, without, of course, taking any names, had criticized Mr. Modi for a large number of, traits which are his. Everybody really recognizes them, including this promotion of the self, which is something done by Mr. Modi all the time, including, as you say, in this letter. So that is there. The other is this very selective presentation of facts. Just the other day, Anand mentioned about his speech yesterday, very well pointed out that several of those points which are there in that thing, including likening the national, what do you call it? Satyamev Jayate, the precise word for that, to what is being done on the, on the temple, what is written there, what is the dhwaja symbolizing. So it's actually drawing, or rather, I would say that blurring all lines of separation between religion and the state, which is not supposed to be done by, as per the constitution is concerned. So those are the issues. What was the other point that you said that which you asked me something about? I'm just Yes, I was wanting to tell you about selective usage. This, very some days ago he also celebrated the 150th anniversary of Vande Mataram.
They must.
A,
Yes. In
postage
fact, he's
stamp.
mentioned that in the letter also. He's mentioned that in the letter also.
Yeah, it is
150th.
there, but here again he is mentioning it very selectively. He's not talking about the fact that in that particular speech he talked about, he attacked the Congress. He talked about,
That's right.
the full Vande Mataram, which, mind you, not just the Congress Party in 1937, but even the Constituent Assembly and the, at that time it was decided that Vande Mataram shall not be the national anthem. It shall be the national anthem shall be the Jangan Man, and it would be a national song, but only its first para, though no reason was given, but of course it went along with the general perception at that time that the full song, in the particular context that it is framed in Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay's Anand, is actually a text which can cause a certain section of people, the Muslims, can get upset because of the comparison, if not for anything else, for just for comparing the nation with a religious deity, and that to a Hindu religious deity, which did not exist prior to the emergence of Bharat Mata as a deity of the Hindu order. So these are some of the problematic aspects of this letter. But beyond that, that it is a letter today and day after tomorrow, nobody will be talking about it.
Hmm. All right. But since we are talking about the letter which is addressed by the Prime Minister, Constitution is in the center focus. Anand, I'll come to you. And various leaders from across the parties today have pasted the picture of the preamble, and then they have written about what they think about the Constitution. Where do you think Constitution figures in the political discourse today? The credit for it goes to Rahul Gandhi. The credit for it goes to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because he keeps saying and keeps repeating the fact that I was the one who declared 26th November as the Constitution Day. Then he mentions in the letter that I was the one to, take the booklet of the Constitution and put it on my forehead. Then I was the one who took the first steps when I became the prime minister, and I tried to touch, the floor of the parliament. And as a mark of reverence, this is what he said. So all this is given by him as an evidence that he is quite committed towards the constitution. Whereas if you see Rahul Gandhi or otherwise, by and large, if you look at the Congress, the way they talk about the constitution, who is a bigger custodian? Is that a very difficult question? Because it seems that the battle lines are drawn on who is a bigger custodian of the constitution, or who can rather preserve constitution.
It is the people of the country who are the custodians of the constitution. It's neither Rahul Gandhi nor Prime Minister Modi nor anybody else,
Yeah.
nor any one of us, nor any intellectual, nor any sadhu sant. None of these things, none of them really count in that process of the making of history. Why we are talking about Rahul Gandhi is that in the election of last year, Lok Sabha election, he took a copy of the constitution across India, and he quite emphatically said, and he was able to convince large numbers of poor people that if you have any right today, it is not because of any other factor or force but this constitution. This constitution gives you this right. And that single idea, which was communicated very widely at that time, it was commented upon, it was frowned upon by some, it was made fun of by some, that is, opponents of Mr. Gandhi. But yet it had a very serious impact. Under the leadership of Narendra Modi, the BJP government lost its majority. It was not a small matter. A government crashing from 400 plus 300 plus seats, crashing to well below half. That was willed by the people of India, who found their voice through the constitution of India. This is the constitution that has been reviled from the very beginning, from its first day in 1950, by the by a broad spectrum of people who today call themselves Hindu nationalists and whose slogan is Hindutva. They parade themselves under different names, like Hindutva, like Sanatanis, and all that. The word Sanatan has a specific meaning and a specific religious discussion. But today it has become a point of political contention. It has been imbued, it has been sought to be imbued with political meaning. So if you do that in that very conscious way, that means that you're trying to negate the will of the people as enshrined in the Constitution of India, which came about as a as a at the culmination of a long drawn freedom struggle, in which these worthies have no faith. It is people who believe in Hindutva. They were responsible for Mahatma Gandhi's murder. They hated the man who led the mass movement for roughly 4 decades, the 4 crucial decades. They hate the man who became the first prime minister, who tried his best to ensure that after Gandhi's assassination, by by religiously inspired, politically and ideologically inspired individuals, the assassination of Gandhi, that such people of that thought did lead India towards chaos, but he very sagaciously and with great diligence guided it towards a democracy, which became the envy of the world. No one had then imagined that a poor country like India, which then could not feed itself, would try its best to try and shine as a democracy, in spite of all the faults that exist that existed then and have been made worse today. Those faults in our functioning of democracy. In spite of all of that, we did not veer from that course. But today we are being led through the democratic method. Mr. Modi is a democratically elected MP, right? And we don't have a direct election for prime minister, but he's the head of the house. But
Yeah.
I have to tell you this: we need to remind ourselves that he was not elected as the leader of the BJP parliamentary party after the 2024 Loksaਭા election.
Yeah.
Such a meeting to elect the leader was never held. Rashtrapati Bhavan never questioned him. He hurriedly called a meeting of the National Democratic Alliance parties in order to cobble up a majority. So there is a little bit of doubt about, whether or not he would have been leader had there
Right.
been a proper leadership election or contest on that day.
Right.
So for such a leader to be talking about all of these things which really are not warranted today, there's no
Right.
special occasion. Observing the Constitution of India Day does not make you a constitutionalist.
Yeah.
When the history of this period will be written, Prime Minister Modi's name will not shine as a great constitutionalist.
Right.
It would, light would be shed on it for opposite reasons.
Right. All right. All right. Strong words coming there from you, Anand. What would you say, Nilanjan, towards the end when we talk about the Constitution and in context with the Constitution? How will people really remember Prime Minister Modi?
Well, as Prime Minister Modi will be remembered, let us wait for the time that when he goes out of office. Only then can we say that what all he would be remembered for, what would be the first thing that he would be remembered for. I think it is too premature for us to start framing that point. But what I wanted to say is that any organization, whenever it get constituted, the first thing that is normally done is that you have a constitution. Political parties also have a constitution. The BJP has one constitution. Anand very rightly pointed out to the parliamentary party of the BJP, never happening. I would also just add to it, saying that even the parliamentary board of the Bharatiya Janata Party has not actually met ever since the 24 election, the parliamentary elections were held for any decisions. At the moment, everything is being done purely by the whims and fancies of just a single individual. That is how it happens. Very recently, we had the oath taking ceremony in Bihar, in which the new Council of Ministers were sworn in. Do not recall ever having watched the mass swearing in ceremony which happened, where that 5 or 6 or 7 of them were simultaneously reading up their particular solemn oath. So it's basically a complete disregard for constitutional processes, which is what I have seen in Mr. Modi right from the time that he's been active in politics. That is what we say. Now, I was talking about, that every organization must have a constitution. So the problem with Mr. Modi is that his political gene comes from the RSS, and the RSS did not have a constitution till 1948, till the government, in which the person who actually pushed the RSS on this point was Sardar Patel, for whom they shed so many tears all the time that Nehru did not allow him to become Prime Minister. But it was Sardar Patel who insisted that the ban on the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, the RSS, would not be lifted till it adopts a constitution. They very hurriedly they cobbled up a constitution and presented it. Sardar Patel and his team of officers they sent it back, making several marks that these things are missing, these things cannot be there. Then it was corrected, and only then it was adopted. How much of that is practice is a different thing. But what I'm saying is that for an individual who draws his political genealogy from an organization which did not believe in constitution, we would know that how much of actual constitution does he really believe in.
All right, so we'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Anand and Nilanjan. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.